Hey, everybody. I'm Christopher David, founder of OpenAgents. Happy Craig Wright is not Satoshi Day. Judgment just came down like an hour or two ago. And yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that on OpenAgents.com, if you ask, is Craig Wright Satoshi? And let's just do it live. Let's just do it live, everybody. Is Craig Wright Satoshi? We are all Satoshi, except for Craig Wright. Okay, good. All right, so I need your help to do something reckless. I just pushed the deploy button on this like 10 minutes ago. So let's see, reckless. Yeah, I set up my first Lightning node in January of 2018. It was one of the first 400 on the network. And back then the hashtag was #reckless. Like, be real careful. Whatever you put in, you'll probably lose. Well, you know, I'm gonna kind of steal that hashtag here. I want to help me do something reckless. So we just launched OpenAgents.com. I invite you to try this out. There's no account needed. It's all free. You just go there. You can do it on your phone. It should work. Caveat, all conversations are public, read and write. This probably won't last too long, but I could use some help stress testing this. So this is just a chatbot agent connected to Mistral Large with some interesting semantic routing to do certain things. And you're welcome to play with that while I do a dramatic reading of some of our launch announcement here. So we're launching OpenAgents.com today. Going to do a big blast with documentation and stuff later today. Oh, thank you. One agent to rule them all. Today we launch OpenAgents, the world's first AI agent swarm capable of recursive daily improvement through crowdsourcing and Bitcoin incentives. And because you get to hear me talk, I'm going to skip down and give you a bit more of the backstory here. Let's see. So I would say the seeds for this began years ago. We're really fortunate here in Austin to have amazing Bitcoin programming all the time. And there was an event a few blocks from here 3 years ago at the old Unchained headquarters, PlebLab Austin. And there were a couple of the talks there from folks from Lightning Labs. Ryan gave a talk. Laulu gave a talk. A big theme there was we can use these Lightning fee markets to establish dynamic pricing for all sorts of different things. And I was like trying to dig up some slides, and I found your slide deck that's still online. And one of the things there was like Uber for GPUs. I was like, oh, cool. Like, that's kind of what came to mind for me as 6 months ago, I was trying to add this uncensored AI chat to this Nostr app that I was building at the time. And I was trying to spin up a GPU cluster to run one of these models off of Hugging Face. And I tried Hugging Face, I tried Amazon, and like I could not spin up a GPU cluster. Oh, we're out of hardware capacity. We're out of hardware capacity. And I was like, where is the liquid market where I can just pay Lightning Sats and give me some compute? I'll pay 3, 5, 10x above spot. I don't care. Just let me do it. That didn't exist. So that was kind of version 1 of our pivot to AI. We built this basic swarm compute network. We had about 250 devices of consumer hardware, people running our software on their computer, connecting their GPU power to this open network, paired with an OpenAI compatible API endpoint that would let people do fine-tuning, inferencing, eventually image gen and embeddings, all through this kind of open network using open models. And that was really cool. And we had a whole bunch of sellers and like former crypto miners run at us because, oh, hey, I can monetize my old devices. And the problem that we ran into there was we had so many sellers and not enough people like wanting to use this. Didn't really want to lean into that uncensored chat, or image gen use case. And, I'm sure we could make a bunch of money, generating AI porn, but that's not really what I'm trying to do. And it was funny, like looking at Ryan's slide, where you listed like the product market fit of all these different things. And you had Uber for GPUs as like a 1. Like, I was like, oh shit, should have like taken that to heart. Anyway, so I paid really close attention when Sam Altman launched their dev day 4 months ago, and they kind of, they launched GPT-4 or 4.5 or whatever the stuff that they launched, who cares? But at the end of the presentation, when they kind of did their one more thing, like the coolest thing they were super excited about was this idea of a GPT store. GPT is their version of like a little AI assistant that you can kind of create. You can equip it with your documents. You can list it in this store, and developers are going to be able to get revenue sharing proportional to how many people use it. Like, wow, really cool. And they said, yeah, this is coming, and we're working on this, and we're going to announce the monetization details later. And I thought, they're probably going to half-ass that It's probably going to be half-baked or maybe even non-existent. 4 months later, they haven't launched, or that what they've launched is not actually a store. There's no monetization. So my thought at the beginning of November was like, let's do our own version of this, because if they do launch monetization, I'm going to guess that they're going to do something like X does now, where they're going to have some very geographically limited, we'll pay you once per week via Stripe Connect if you meet our criteria and if you're good enough for us. Like, fuck that. Anybody who contributes anything, whether it's data, algorithm, code, anything to AI agents deserves to be paid fractional rev share permissionlessly instantly. And that's probably worth building a product. So, did this pivot kind of in full view? Did what ended up becoming an 80 video series of me just building this and thinking out loud. 100% open source ideas to have open models and data, open compute, open money, and an open agent marketplace with revenue share. We kind of learned 3 things, key insights over the last 4 months. Number 1 is we learned how to build agents from reusable building blocks that can be contributed by developers in any of 8 different programming languages, compiling to these WebAssembly modules that we can now pull into these agentic workflows. They can be monetized with long-term Bitcoin revenue streams. So if someone uses a building block that you did, or even a data set or anything like that, your Lightning address is there. We can pay you fractionally for anyone who pays for that agentic workflow, assuming someone's willing to pay for it, as well as composed into larger agents, even by non-developers. You should be able to, in our point and click interface, click to fork someone else's agent if you have some better data set that you can put in, list that on the open market, and have that available to anybody. Separately, we equip these agents with the ability to hold their own Bitcoin balances. Still super simple implementation, just basically shared wallet using Albi, but basic proof of concept, it works, as well as paying for services using the Lightning Network and the L402 protocol, which has been awesome. And doubly awesome is that there's 5+ companies all kind of trying to work on that together. Most recently, we've discovered what we think is going to be a better user experience than the current GPT store, where you go and you're confronted with a search box and there's 600 different assistants or agents or GPTs, and they all kind of suck. None of them are really good. It's well, that's a lot of kind of cognitive overload of what is all this junk. But maybe the interface shouldn't be, a whole bunch of things. Maybe it's just one thing, and maybe that can be customized in different ways. But this is kind of the idea behind what we're launching right now. We want to demonstrate a couple of concepts here. One is you can go here and you can say, what is this? And this is just the basic prompt. It's kind of system prompt where we're saying, give the user some introductory information about open agents. But then we program this also with an API. We connected it to a stock API. And this is just kind of me scratching my own itch of a few days ago, I was how do I find what the open price of MSTR was the last 5 trading days or whatever? This is going to go out and it's going to hit an API and it's going to call that. And I asked it same thing, what is the Bitcoin price? And this stock API gave me the wrong answer, whatever. So I found a better API and connected that. And this is all free for right now. But you can imagine that this could have the same way that we're integrating sort of free ones now, integrate paid APIs with whoever connects the paid API to this, earning stats of whatever is being paid. So let's do one more thing. Someone kind of joked, it would be cool if you could give a little lecture, ChatGPT style lecture, if someone asked for the price of some other token. I was okay, yeah, cool, let's do that. That took me about half an hour yesterday. What is Ethereum? Shitcoins are not supported, study Bitcoin. Now, there's another project who we're starting to do some work with called Spirit of Satoshi that's kind of trying to do this thing at the level of the LLM itself, which is cool, but you don't actually need to complicate it that amount. You can come up with this idea called semantic router, and we'll be launching some developer documentation on our website later today about this. But there's just the idea that you can create these different routes. And the routes are kind of associated with different vector embeddings of strings. So I have routes here for finance stock price market. Anything that's kind of close to that, it's going to send them down a particular route where we're calling this financial API that we're integrated with. And we've only done 2 of the integrations with that, checking the price or checking the basic company financial data. But just as an example, the level of information that we have just from a single kind of regular industry leading stock API allows for extremely detailed analysis where, it'd take me, if I wanted to take half a day and add support for more functions, where I could then ask, what is the open price of MSTR for the last 5 days, compare that against the Bitcoin price, calculate these moving averages. It should be as simple as you asking a question to an agent and getting back a really complex answer. There are people like trying to do that kind of things for these sort of individual use cases here and there. They're trying to build companies doing one thing, but that just reminds me of the old sort of Uber for X model. Like that model has died. There's not going to be a bunch of different things. My bet is that there's going to be one sort of swarm of these agents that if we can properly incentivize people with Bitcoin to contribute to that, it is going to be, as we say, one agent to rule them all. More information on this will be out later today in terms of the documentation, how this all works. But what I want to invite you all to do is please try this. We are right now just kind of launching the basic chat interface. What we need to do now is we need to build the market. We need to connect people that can say, hey, if I could take that stock trading analysis thing and connect it to my LN Markets account, or if I could do due diligence in a more automated fashion on these different portfolio companies I'm evaluating, is there a use case that if you were thinking, I would love to be able to do this, like it probably can be done? We want you to tell us that, tell me that, I'll be around all day, tweet that at us, or come into this interface and be like, I want an agent that does fill in the blank. Note again, all of this is going to be public, but we separately have 8 or so developers who we've already paid bounties to. We've got a bunch of developers who are wanting specifically to build agent and these kind of agentic building blocks for people who want that. So we've figured out the architecture. Now we need to build the market. Hope that you all can kind of test this out, openagents.com, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.